Today we're driving the 2022 Ford Explorer Timberline edition. Not the Timberland edition, not the Timberlake edition, Timberline. And I'm here with substitute Topher.
Hello.
He hooked us up with this car today to test drive, and we're just going to show you what this thing is all about. This is kind of a soft rotor package for the Ford Explorer.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the 10-speed automatic. The 2.3 EcoBoost turbocharged four-cylinder makes 300 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque. This is a base Timberline Explorer, so its MSRP is around $46,200, with destination about $47,000 or so. No options. There are a few options you can get on this, and
I think the big tablet.
Yeah, you get the big Sync 4 tablet, right?
Yeah.
And some aftermarket lights on the front. But anyway, let's walk you around this Ford Explorer Timberline. We'll show you what it looks like inside and out, take it for a drive, give you some driving impressions, and this might be a pretty cool off-road / winter vehicle for those who want to do some camping, drive in inclement weather. It has a limited slip rear differential, as well as underbody skid plates in the front, under the transmission, and the rear bumper. The first thing you'll notice on this Explorer are all the green accents. We have these really cool looking cloth and leather seats. They are in cypress green, which is kind of hard to see in the sunlight, but it's a neat tone, and you've got this contrast orange stitching, as well as this little center fabric piece, which I think looks pretty cool. We have a sporty looking steering wheel, almost looks and feels like an ST steering wheel. Again, orange stitching right in the middle there. The exterior is painted in forged green, and kind of hard to see because we've got a lot of dirt and mud on it today.
It's proper. That's how this SUV is supposed to
Exactly. It's painted in forged green and dirt, which I think looks pretty good. Yeah, and a little bit of salt. So one of the accessories you can get are a couple of light bars right here.
So they actually go in right where these trim pieces are. These are just block-off panels.
Okay.
But there's an accessory through Ford Performance you can get that puts little LED light bars right here in the grille. And there's an auxiliary switch that we'll get into once we get back into the car that you can switch. It's wired right into the car from the factory. So.
We've got two orange painted recovery tow hooks right down here, and those are rated for what, 150% of the vehicle's gross vehicle weight rating.
That's right, yeah.
So you can get towed out. You can tow some other vehicles out with these. We also have this front skid plate right at the front bumper, and then underneath the transmission. No skid plate under the fuel tank, unfortunately. That's just like a fabric sound deadening material.
I love the sound that skid plates make.
And yeah, this is real metal
That's
too.
like
This
proper,
isn't, you know, that's a good thickness, and it looks like aluminum too. Yeah. All right, so good looking Explorer. This is, you know, of course, your rear wheel drive based platform. This is, of course, all wheel drive. Unibody, can tow about 5,300 pounds. We do have some off-road oriented tires here. These are Bridgestone Dueler AT Revo 3 tires, which is a decent off-road tire. It does actually pretty well in the winter and snow too. These tires are in a slightly larger size than the XLT Explorer. So these are two 65 R18s instead of two 55 18s, about 31.6 inches in diameter. And that contributes to a little bit of the higher ground clearance in this Timberline edition. This has 8.7 inches of ground clearance, and that's about 0.8 inches higher than the standard Explorer. Part of that is due to the tires, part of that is due to some heavy-duty shocks, which aren't they shared with the Police Interceptor Explorer. So that's pretty cool.
For when you're chasing the perps through the neighborhoods.
Absolutely.
You got curbs and speed bumps.
Oh my gosh, take it off a jump a berm.
Yeah. Yes.
We've got a cool Timberline badge here on the side. I like that graphic. The wheels look nice. Yeah, there it is again right here. And then on the wheel, you even have the same logo, just kind of etched in casually there. Valve stem is nicely hidden behind the spokes too, if you want to do a little bit of rock crawling. Let's take a look at the back seat. Same cypress green seats back here.
I feel like Ford has really been like going with this sort of insert material. They have it on like all of their off-road oriented cars, don't they?
It does, yeah.
Like it reminds me of like the Bronco Sport kind of.
It kind of, I think, adds a little bit more of a high-end feel to the interior.
Yeah. Gives it more
And
dimension.
I don't know, this Explorer does have a nice interior. It's super simple, really pretty minimal, basic, easy to use. I do like these seats a lot. They look pretty sharp. Even the Monroney has, or the window sticker has a green piece on the top here showing you that it's, you know, meant for rugged off-road things. That's pretty fun. Yeah, 47.4 out the door, 20 miles to the gallon combined, 19 city, 21 highway. And because this is the Ford Explorer, you get these nice seats that you can move around. Pretty usable third row back there. Good to throw some kids in a pinch. Oh, this is a brand new car, so all this stuff is still kind of stiff and needs to be broken in. You've got some storage pockets in the back of the seats. A couple USB ports, a Type A and a USB-C. Rear climate control, 12-volt plug outlet. Rear heated seats, rear climate control. No sunroof. Got some nice looking roof rails up here. It is a slick top roof. Probably a little bit easier to throw stuff up top if you want to. All right, let's take this thing for a drive. We're also testing an Explorer ST this week, so it's kind of interesting driving the most aggressive street Explorer and the most aggressive off-road version of the Explorer. And this is a cool special edition. I think it's neat to see Ford kind of giving a little bit of a trim level to the off-road enthusiast. It can do some light off-roading, but it's not going to be as capable as something like the Bronco or maybe even the Bronco Sport with the locking clutch type differentials.
Mm-hmm.
Though Ford does do a pretty good job with their different drive modes. We have a bunch of normal, EcoSport, tow haul modes. And then they do a pretty good job with their brake torque vectoring on the trail drive mode and deep snow sand mode. And that'll turn traction control off. We have an interesting traction control button down here. It looks like a snail for a turbo.
I thought it was a snail at first, but it's just an off-road tire kicking up stones.
It is. That's what it looks like. You do have that Torsen limited slip diff in the back to help you out in low traction situations.
Just like a Miata.
Just like a Miata, exactly. We have the Sync 3 infotainment. Pretty straightforward, pretty basic, works quickly. I don't think it has wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, but it is wired.
Yeah.
So.
You gotta get the Sync 4 if you want wireless.
Okay, cool. We do have a 360 cam and nice forward-facing and reverse cameras. It's thinking the license plate is in the way of a parking sensor, that's why it's beeping. But it is nice you have a kind of a trail cam there almost. I don't know
that's cool.
how fast you can go before that turns off.
7.
About 7-8 miles an hour, okay. We have a few different menus that we can see and views that we can see in the center digital display. We can see tire pressures, our average fuel economy, trip, pretty much all the usual stuff that you'd see in an Explorer. Nothing really too different there. What I'm most curious about is how much tire roar we get from these Bridgestone dualers. If it seems about the same as a regular Explorer, if it's a little bit more of an aggressive tire off-road, is it gonna translate to more road noise? So far it feels pretty good.
Certainly no Sasquatch Broncos.
That's true. Yeah, these aren't big sloppy KO2s.
There's a little more though, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, comparing to like a super soft Explorer Platinum or something like that, like this definitely makes a little bit more noise on the road.
It does, yeah.
But it's not bad. If you had music on, like, you wouldn't notice.
No, yeah, it kind of blends in with the wind noise and sound from the EcoBoost. This 2.3 does sound pretty good.
Yeah.
Ford's always done a nice job tuning their 4 cylinders to have like this meaty, throaty, guttural sound.
Yeah. Even in like the Fusion, it's always sounded like that.
10-speed feels good.
Yeah.
Really close gear spacing.
Yeah.
Pretty smooth, quick shifts.
Yeah.
And you get this strange, it's almost like just like a whooshing noise from the exhaust. Just the turbo pushing a bunch of air through the exhaust system. Kind of reminds me of my 4Runner. Let's put it into sport mode, see what that does.
It kind of sounds like the 2.3 that you get in the Bronco.
It
Just
does.
Like the big Bronco with the 2.3 is what this sounds like.
Yeah.
But this motor is in like everything that Ford makes now.
Yeah, isn't this in the Ranger?
It's in the Ranger, it's in the Bronco, it's in the Mustang, it's in this.
It's a great engine. It has
is,
a nice
yeah.
amount of torque and power.
Yeah. Yeah.
Paddle shifters
Okay.
when you want them.
That actually sounds really cool.
Yeah, you get a little bit more
Yeah.
induction noise in sport mode. Take a couple corners here and see how this handles on these all-terrains. It's not bad. It's definitely not as sharp as the Explorer ST is on those massive wheels with low profile, sporty all-season tires, but you can feel some sidewall squish, but
Yeah.
there's a good amount of meat to these tires, and I like that Ford didn't just go with a massive wheel and they actually gave us some decent sidewall. And a 31.6 inch all-terrain tire it's almost a 32-inch tire. It's no joke. It's just shy of what they put on the Jeep Wranglers.
That's large.
Some of the base Jeep Wranglers. Yeah, it's a pretty large diameter.
Yeah.
That's about what I had on my Lexus GX.
Okay, I want to talk about the interior because when I think of like Ford in the 80s and 90s, they always did the exterior and interior color in the same color. Like that was like
That's
their
right.
thing. And they're doing that again with these fun interior colors that match. We've got a green exterior, we've got a very similar green on the interior. We've got orange stitching. I just think it's cool because so many manufacturers now you can either have black or you can have tan. And
Yes.
that's it, you know?
It's getting a little bit boring, a little bit dull, and this throws a bit of fun into the mix.
Yeah, and we saw something similar with the Raptor we were driving. That had a blue interior.
Oh my gosh, that was so cool. Some
That-
commenters didn't really care for it too much, but I thought that was just the
It was
coolest
so
looking
cool.
interior for the Raptor.
Hear that limited slip?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, locking up that rear axle a
Oh,
little
yeah.
bit around a tighter corner.
Sounds like when you begin in my IS300, that little chirp.
I bet this would be a fun Explorer to kind of mob down a dirt back road at higher speeds. Like
Oh yeah.
those, heavy duty shocks would probably take a lot of big impacts just fine. The ride quality in this is pretty nice. When we first got into this, the tires were pumped up to about 40 PSI, and the ride was a little bit stiff, but we took a few pounds out, and this feels really nice.
It does. It's squishy.
Yeah, it's also a brand new car, so the shocks, everything haven't really broken in quite yet. I think this is a nice mix between good road manners and some off-road capability if and when you need it. But let's say you live in Colorado, you drive through a lot of inclement weather, or you live in Michigan and you have rough roads, a lot of potholes, you want a little bit more sidewall and a vehicle that's capable in the snow. This would be a really nice car to drive in Michigan, actually, and in the mountains.
Or if you're a camping enthusiast.
Oh my gosh, camping enthusiasts would be all over this Explorer
Yes.
Timberline.
This is kind of like Ford is kind of pushing this like vibe of like the adventure vehicle.
Absolutely.
And they push that a lot with the Bronco Sport, and I think that this fits into that segment as well. Like not super extreme, like you said, with there's a big Bronco right up
Yeah,
there.
there we go.
And I think that that's the big Bronco that we filmed actually. I
Oh,
think
cool,
that's
all right.
The actual car, but
Absolutely. Yeah, no, and this makes a lot more sense to me as an Explorer than the ST. I mean, who was
Yeah.
asking for a sporty street Explorer ST? This feels like the Explorer that I would want over, a standard XLT or something like that.
yeah. Do you wish that you could also get this with the 3-liter EcoBoost, or do you think the 2.3 is plenty for this?
I mean, I think the 2.3 is plenty for this. The EcoBoost is going to add some weight. It's going to add some cost.
True.
And I don't know if I would want to spend more than 50 grand for something like this.
Okay. Yeah, because you'd probably be pushing 60,000 if you
Yeah.
integrated that 3-liter EcoBoost.
Yeah, the EcoBoost makes a lot of sense in the Bronco, and it works really well in the Bronco, and it mates up great with that 10-speed. But this is plenty of power, 300 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque, tows 5,300 pounds. That's kind of in between the hybrid and the higher trims of the Explorer. I do really like the steering wheel. It feels so good in
Oh.
hand. It's kind of chunky, but it's not too thick in the
Yeah.
areas that you would grab it.
It looks awesome just from over here. The perforation too, like where your hands go.
And there's no like weird stitching areas. Everything is very well made and nicely sewn together. There's no big rough areas, which is great. Sometimes Ford has struggled with that in the past, where they've just, there's some build quality issues with this leather and this stitching, but this is perfect.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to wrap up our review on the Explorer Timberline edition. Nice package. Looks good. Drives well. Should get you to where you need to go within a reason. And kind of follows that off-roady adventure ethos that Ford has been pushing lately. I think this makes a lot more sense than the Explorer ST.
Yeah.
And this would probably be at the top of my list if I personally were looking to get an Explorer, because it kind of it has a lot to offer.
Yeah. And I think 47,000 is very reasonable.
Yeah. Something different, and a little bit of a cool factor too, which I think is important. All right. Thanks to Substitute Topher for hooking it up today.
Of course.
You just filmed a video on your BMW. What is it? How
I
many
did.
miles?
364,000 miles.
Wow.
So I filmed that for your channel, but there will be a video on my channel at some point too.
And that's like your winter driver, winter
It's my
beater.
winter driver. Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, stay tuned for that video. And thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Take care. It's nice to have an SUV that looks good dirty too, because then you don't feel obliged to wash it all the time.
Right. When we showed up today and it was dirty, I was like, oh,
Yeah,
cool.
cool.
It actually
Not-
looks proper.
Not even
All
mad
this-
about it. Yeah.
This is great.
That's
I
right.
think you did this though.
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
That's not a graphics package. That's actual mud.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh, how many people are going to get this confused with Timberland and Timberlake? They should really get Justin to do some advertisements
They
for
should.
this. Yeah.
Justin Timberland.
Justin
Or Timberline. I just did it. Justin Timberline.
I know, they're all so similar.